At the end of this video, you're gonna figure out what the top 3 pickleball tactics are every new player should know. The first pickleball tactic that every new player should know is that anytime you're returning, you're at a huge advantage by getting up and established first. And so you need to make sure that you have enough time to get up and establish. Tendencies that I see from a beginner level is that beginners tend to hit a shorter return. They try to hit a linear return. Plain and simple, they hit a return in a way where it doesn't give them time to get up and establish. So we're gonna focus here on returning with some height, giving yourself some margin. And if you give yourself some margin, if you give yourself some height, it should give you plenty of time to get up to the kitchen line. Here's how the return should look. I have Ethan serving at me. I'm hitting this return. I'm lifting it, giving myself plenty of time to come forward and then making contact. So court position on the return, I'm gonna give myself some cushion here. I'm gonna have my take back be short and compact, but I'm looking to get lots of height and lots of depth. That way it gives me time to come forward. Height gives me plenty of time. Right when Ethan is making contact is when I should be up and established, okay? So I'm looking to get to the kitchen line as quickly as I can. This is the one time in pickleball where you are looking to rush. Return, lift, gives me plenty of time. Now I'm up and established. The last thing you want is to be hitting a return and staying back, looking to see how pretty it is, or hitting a return and you end up here, they're driving a third ball, and their third ball can make your feet vulnerable by driving at your feet. Okay, last one here, looking to get lots of height, give myself time, get up and established, and then I'm making contact from here. The second tactic that every new player should know is that at lower levels, you're winning such a high percentage of points just by putting balls in play. I would say 90% of the points out here at lower level is won by unforced errors. And so whether I'm in transition and I'm playing defense, I'm at the kitchen line, I'm back at the baseline playing defense. Anytime we're on defense, we should always be looking to put one extra ball back in play. Why? Because that could force our opponent to self-destruct, make an unforced error, and having the right shot selection and being aware of where you're at on the court goes a long ways as well. Anytime I'm in my red zone, that means defense. I'm having to hit up. Anytime I'm hitting up, whether it's at the kitchen line, I'm in transition, I should always be looking to play safe. If I am at the kitchen line and I have a green light ball, that gives me license to be aggressive. That's probably the best part about pickleball is being able to put yourself in a position where you get that high ball. Also too, if I'm dealing with the ball at the kitchen or if I'm dealing with the ball in transition and I'm in yellow, yellow means safe. Yellow means sometimes you may look to be aggressive, sometimes you may look to play safe. Just depends on the situation and it depends on who's in front of you. So anytime that I'm dinking here, if my opponent or Ethan hits it in a non-attackable area, I know all I can do is dink, okay? And know that at lower levels, you're gonna win a high percentage of points just by out-dinking your opponents. Sometimes taking no risk, playing safe, playing textbook, and putting balls in play is gonna do the job. Again, I can out-dink Ethan, meaning I'm just gonna make balls and kind of dink him to death until he makes an unforced error. Again, move him around. Nice, okay? Another way that I can win a point. If I'm in transition and I'm scrambling and I'm having a hard time getting up, Ethan's looking to be aggressive. Ethan acted like he just hit a return. Now he's taking a 4th and a 6th. Sometimes just being disciplined and playing safe from here, using the right shot selection, could cause an unforced error. See that? So good defense is good offense. I can win a high percentage of points, whether it's at the pro level or it's at a beginner level, just by playing good defense and recognizing that if you're on defense, you have to make balls and force your opponents to self-destruct. Next scenario here is I'm at the kitchen line. I can also win points by moving my dinks around, forcing my opponent to pop it up. Now I have a ball up in green that I can be aggressive on. So I'm gonna start moving this man around, seeing if there's a ball out of the air that I can work with. Nice. So I'm able to move the ball around, get a ball that presents itself, take a ball in green, and then look to hit down on it. Nice. So I'm looking to take something out of the air here. Nice. There's my little put away. I can do all this at the kitchen line by using anchors on my feet, keeping my feet still, dumbing down my lower extremities, and simply just moving my dinks around. How you move your dinks around. If I'm hitting a forehand, leading with the palm. If I'm hitting a backhand, I'm leading with the knuckles. But I'm just moving my opponent around, getting them off balance, and then hoping to get a pop-up from there. So a tactical play that every beginner should know at the baseline as well is that if I have time to drive, you can look to drive only if it's in green or yellow. anytime it's in red, I'm always looking to drop. So if I'm at the baseline here, let's say I've just served, that side has hit a return, now they're up and established. The return comes at me. If I have time and it's in an area where I can drive this ball, again. I can drive this ball, okay? Now, once the ball starts getting too low, once the ball starts getting too short, or maybe I just don't want to drive, maybe I want to drop. You can also drop from these zones as well. This is what the drop would look like. It's a little lower. I'm going to look to drop from there. It's a little lower and driving me back, kind of putting me more on defense. I can look to drop from there. If I'm in here, I can also look to drop. Anytime that I'm taking a half volley, meaning I'm taking a ball right off the bounce, it should always be a drop. Anytime that I'm having to hit up, usually it's going to be defensive and it should be a drop. The third tactic we're going to be talking about today is simply just recognizing and being aware of what's in front of you. If you feel like your opponent, when they're hitting third balls, is breaking down, you should probably try to isolate and keep it there. If you recognize that your opponent isn't all that great in transition or they don't play great defense, but their partner does, obviously you should try to keep the ball on the person that isn't as comfortable in transition. And then once you get to the kitchen line, you kind of have three different departments. Where are you going to put the return? Who are you going to drop and drive to? And then what's your biggest gain once you get to the kitchen line? Biggest gain once we get to the kitchen line, if I feel like I can out dink somebody because they're falling apart, or I can see by their technique that they're using lots of wrists, or they have a big take back, or they're really scrambling a lot with their feet, that's a golden ticket that should tell you that you should keep a lot of balls on that player and they're probably uncomfortable. Here's a general look at somebody that's uncomfortable at the kitchen line. Ethan's going to look like a sharp pro player over there. I'm going to be moving a lot, using my wrist. Body mechanics are simply just breaking down. Take a look. So if you see lots of movement here, they're overusing their wrist, they have a big take back, that's probably a sign that they are not as comfortable at the kitchen line. If I was in transition and you kind of see that same look, I'm popping balls up. I don't have good clean technique, overusing the wrist. That's also a sign that person probably isn't as comfortable in transition. Or if they're back at the baseline, same thing. If they have a hard time getting in, or just if there's any look about their technique or about their mechanics that looks uncomfortable, make sure to isolate. There's nothing wrong with finding something that works, keeping your foot on the gas, and just staying true to that plan and keeping it there.